Yeah. Yep.
Roundup family, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Chris Haskins with the realestateroundup.com. My mission is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. I'm able to meet an extraordinary human being recently, Nate Armstrong. The man is the evil scientist, the mad doctor in the background. We should do a picture of you, Nate, like at a keyboard or something with like your hair all shot.
Only you, Chris. You got these words, man.
I'm telling you, even Best Buy, I was telling Nate, even Best Buy has a geek squad, and you got to have somebody in the back because I'm just not the guy. I'm going to be the guy in the front, but you got to have people in the background that know these algorithms, that know all these computer switches and all that stuff. And Nate Armstrong is the man for hooking all that up. What up, Nate?
Hey, Chris. Well, I'm blessed and honored to be your geek squad behind the scenes and help out however I can. Today I'm actually going to show some of the behind the scenes on what the Geek Squad's up to and how we're, even despite this whole like craziness that we're in right now, how we're still using social media essentially to drive a ton of sellers into us. So
it's truly amazing. We're getting leads in, Nate. I'm just like, I personally admire the system because I know a lot of guys are focusing on this cold calling now, Nate, and it's almost like the way you put it. Well, I'll let you describe it as opposed to, how your position or your posture when you're dealing with a lead.
Yeah. And cold calling, like if you get me fired up on that one, cold calling is like investor suicide. I've seen a lot of people, because it takes so many calls and you've got to get rejected so many times cold calling, a lot of people quit the business. So that's why I call cold calling investor suicide. Nobody likes it. It's not fun. Like, I don't know about you, but I didn't get into real estate to be a call center and call people and hear the word no all day.
Yeah.
And that positioning, as you were describing, it's wrong. When you're going to a seller and you're saying, hey, will you please consider selling, like that's wrong. Instead, when a seller comes to you and says, hey, Chris, or hey, Nate, will you help me with my property? I'm in this situation and I need a little help. Can you help me? The positioning is just much, much better. You can actually do what most of us thought we were getting in this business to do: help people and earn money by doing it.
Yep. I love it, brother, the way you put it too, almost with the dial. You get to dial it up, dial it back as much as you want, depending on how much you want to spend every month or every day. It's really cool how you got it set up, Nick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're having fun.
Yeah, let's do it. So rounduppers, make sure Nate is going to be going over some stuff with the social media. He's the evil genius. He's got this thing, I'm telling you, it's mapped out date. You got to get on the man's schedule. His whole scheduling thing is kind of new to me. Put it on his schedule, then you'll get him on 30 minutes, Nate. I mean, you're so like systematic with your thinking, brother.
I try to keep it compartmentalized, but is it okay if I share screen?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So round up real quick. If you got questions about the social media, get them in the box so Nate can get them answered there.
Okay. All right. It's working. All right. So social media, particularly during a time like this, we want to be spot on with this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show real life stuff that we're doing. And I want to put one big caveat on this. In the midst of a change in the market like this might be one of the most important things that you can learn for your real estate business. And I'm going to equate it kind of boldly and strongly. But when you have to market through the middle of a crisis like this that we're going through, or a change, this is like serious time. So I'm going to make a strong analogy. And if we've got like little kids in the room, we can take them out of the room. I won't go that far, but I want to say it like this. When you try to outsource part of your business, this marketing part, it's like outsourcing sex.
Okay.
And I know that sounds a little strong, but here's the thing. You can outsource the simple things like cleaning your house, cooking, all that kind of stuff. But marketing is really making babies for your business. And if you notice, like even the big companies, the Fortune 500 companies, they don't forget their roots. Like they usually have people on their team that do marketing for them all the time. Like it's just essential part of the business. This isn't something you want to just give away to someone so-and-so and hope for the best. You want to have control of this. And today I'm going to show you how you can have control of this. Okay. Now I know I might get some people that say, well, Nate, you can't talk about the birds and the beads of being a Christian, but I'm not going to go like that level or anything like that. That's the only reference I want to make, because I just want you to remember this. Okay. Marketing your business is like sex. You cannot outsource this at all. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the system that we're using, the marketing system that drives in sellers that are asking and want your actual help. And the way that I'm doing this right now, and a lot of our members are across the country, is that we're literally driving social media ads for sellers to jump on calls with us. We start with a phone call, and then we switch it over to either a Skype call or a WhatsApp call. And even in the midst of like this, hey, if I don't know if I want people in my house phase, we're getting a lot of people that are coming to us through this video channel too. And it all starts with these social media ads that we're going to talk about. And a little background, I won't spend a lot of time on this because you can Google this if you want to Google it, but just so you know who you're talking with on the other end, besides Mr. Chris Haskins, my name's Nate Armstrong. I didn't figure this stuff out right away. I went on a long journey like a lot of us probably have. I painted houses to pay for school. I struggled for a long time to figure it out. I'm a man of God, I'm a husband, and I'm a father. And last but not least, I had a really cool chance to build a real estate company called Home Invest. And it's where I cut my teeth, so to speak. I got a lot of practice building that company and figuring out how to do this stuff. And on my journey, I started with fix and flips. Chris, what'd you start with, man?
Unfortunately, I started with rentals.
Rentals? Well, that's well building, man.
Well, they took them all. The ones I bought back in the day, I got foreclosed on. So
I see. Well, I went down the fix and flip path, and then I started to take the extra cash and put them into rentals. And then I got into this big nasty project, this development project, and that's when I had to give a lot of my rental houses away too. I got into this development project. I didn't live in Chicago. I wasn't from the area, but a developer that through a mutual acquaintance had invited me to come and join these big deals, and I jumped in. My part of the deal was that I had to sign the bank loan. I had to take out the financing for it, and I had to put some cash in the deal.
Oh boy.
And the next thing I know, I was in debt $6 million for just these projects.
Wow.
Developer came back to me after they got underway, and he said, "You know what? I'm sorry, but I have to quit." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? Like, we're just getting started on these." And then he said, "Well, the city's making us do all this extra stuff, like literally dig out basements, lift up, like insane stuff." And then I learned the hard way that I was in over my head. I also dug into the financials really deep because I had budgeted enough to get through the project based on a normal time frame, but when all these problems started hammering us, it was like turning a 1-year project into a 3-year project. And I had to figure out how to start coming up with the monthly burn, the taxes, the mortgage, the insurance, paying the people to keep working. And it was $50,000 a month, which I did not have. And this is when I had to start cashing in rentals. I literally, just like you said, Chris, like you had to give them all back. Well, I had to sell mine. Whatever equity I had in each rental property, I was fire saling like no other. The one I remember clear as day is 1180 Minnehaha Avenue East. And the reason that I remember it is my wife had bought that one. That was her first rental.
Oh, no.
She did it all on her own, like the whole thing. And she I remember when she got the contracting, she cried through the process because the contractor tried to rip her up. But so many memories were attached to that. Mm-hmm. But we had to let it go. We had to say goodbye. And kind of through the process of this, like we downsized, we had to go through some life shifts, went from the suburbs to a 1-bedroom apartment. And I had to go back to the banks and beg them for extension after extension. And I just wanted to power through and like get these things done and get them out of my life. And in the midst of this, people kept telling me, quit, like, just give it back to the bank, get out of this. Like, you're insane if you keep doing this. And I wanted to get it done because I had my personal guarantee on the line. I felt like I had reputation involved. So I kept pushing and pushing. And kind of in the darkest of these moments, my wife pointed out to me that there's just so much more to life than being this workaholic. And maybe this is your wake up call. And so she got me back into the good book, and I started reading again. And I realized that she was right. Like, there's more to life than just work. Yep. I said, you know this, Chris, like you figured it out. You've got the formula down. And so she pushed me in that direction. And then I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to start reconnecting with people. I'm going to let a little stress off. And so I went back to Facebook and connected with high school buddies and started networking again. And lo and behold, one of my buddies was up to flipping houses using social media. And this is like the spark for me. And when I saw this, I reached out to him right away. I'm like, dude, teach me this stuff. And he kept doing deal after deal after deal. He kept posting on Facebook and he kept saying, this is from Facebook. This is from Facebook. This one's from social media. And so I reached out and said, hey, will you teach me this stuff? And then he said, you know what? I'll teach you. I said, okay. I did what good entrepreneurs do. I took my money out and paid the guy. And the next thing I know, within 3 weeks, I got 5 seller signed contracts.
Wow.
And when I was going through this like tough time, this was like seeing a waterfall in the middle of a desert, because like I needed this to come through. And then I said, you know what else can we do with this? And I kept pushing and I built this whole like back end system around it, so that when leads came in, whether it was buyer or seller, it automated things and it made it faster. So kind of like the diagram you're seeing on your screen now, like a Facebook ad would take them into a lead capture form, and then it would take it into either someone on my team or a call center to call the lead. And we systematize the whole thing is what I'm trying to say. Nice. And then it led to this. This is my first $100,000 month. Like we went to the bank, we printed a check, and if anyone's ever gone through a tough patch and then you're able to get a $100,000 check, like this changes everything. It makes your brain believe in yourself again. Your confidence goes from 0 to 150. And this was it. Once we did that, we were able to finish the Chicago projects, got them off our balance sheet. We lost our tails, but we got them off. And then stuff started to take off. We did in 2016, 117 properties. We beat that record in 2017, and then we beat that record again in 2018. And then we ended up doing some pretty cool stuff that I won't waste a lot of time on, but we made the Inc. 500, and kind of the rest is history.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but it started in the midst of that storm. And so for anyone that's gone through some trouble, like, or some headaches or some rejection, like, I hear you. Like, I've been there, I've lived it, I know it. I put this spreadsheet here because some people are like, well, Nate, show me the data, prove to me. Like, we track every single sale. This is month by month breakdown to show those numbers. And it was some pretty cool stuff. Hey, none of that stuff really matters though. What matters is, what about you? If you're sitting there saying, well, great, Nate, that's great for you, but what about me? How can this work for me? Let me show you. This is parts for you. Okay. I'm going to show now the 3 marketing steps that we're using right now that are producing big results. Okay. The first one, a lot of people think there's this myth out there that in order to do this stuff, what I'm talking about right now, that you have to go out and hire a marketing agency to do everything and keep paying them long-term and all that kind of stuff. And that's a myth. I'm going to tell you right now that if you've got the right team guiding you, maybe helping you get it set up even, and then you got that guidance, you don't have to have a marketing agency to do this stuff, not long-term. Okay. I did go down a marketing agency path. After I got this up and running myself, I wanted to scale it. So I went and hired a marketing agency, and I paid them $12,000. And I'll tell you a long story made short is that my $12,000 ended up getting 0 deals.
Wow.
My own marketing that I'd done before that got me deals, but that funnel got me nothing. And then I went to another marketing firm trying in this effort to scale more. And I gave them the same task. And I said, hey, can you do this for me? And then with them, I spent $4,300, a little bit less. Mm-hmm. I got 0 leads from them. I asked for a refund, and then they explained to me that they built everything on their ad platform and on their lead management system. So I couldn't just take it. So I lost out there. And that's when I realized, going through these marketing agencies, I went through another one that did a chatbot and had similar results. But what I realized with these marketing agencies, they're great. I don't blame any of them. I'm not even mad to this day that I didn't win with them. I blame myself. Because what I realized is that they didn't speak the language that we speak. They didn't speak motivated seller. They didn't speak what is it like to be in the shoes of someone that is actually going through foreclosure. They didn't know how to write that language in the ads or the emails or the text messages or the voicemails that automatically deploy to someone when they click on one of our ads. They didn't know that. So I can't really blame them, because when most marketing agencies do this, they do it for chiropractors, dentists, so many different businesses. They just don't know what we know about our business. So that's when I realized that the best person for your marketing is you. That's why I say you can't outsource this stuff. You get guidance, pay someone to help you get it set up, but you should be the chief marketing officer of your company. Okay. The other thing that when I went on this journey is that because I was the person in charge of it and I took full accountability for it, is that I realized where people fell off. So when a lead comes in, when you get a seller that comes into your world asking for help, there's a million places that you can lose them. Like they might be filling out the form and literally get a phone call from their sister, and then they completely forget about you. They go on with their life on that phone call, and then they never come back to filling out the form. Or maybe they fill out the form, but then something comes up where they can't sell the house for a couple of weeks, so they don't answer your call or whatever. If you don't have the right systems in place to follow up automatically so that you're not doing it manually, then you lose too many people. So that's where I got into this whole like ecosystem with text messages, voicemails, this whole nurture process. This is one of my good friend and client, Scott. He posted this after he didn't believe me when I told him what I was doing. I started posting on Facebook about what I was doing for lead gen and getting deals. And then he reached out and he said, there's no way you're getting numbers like that. And this gentleman, he happened to own one of those big national franchises. And he said, no, the franchise that I'm with, like we get the best leads in the world. There's no one that can beat us. There's no way you're doing the numbers you say. Do you remember how much, when you were in the franchise world, how much did it cost you to get a seller signed contract?
Oh, it was 3,000. They have all these systems in place they say cost per lead, cost per contract, cost per deal. Yeah, it was $3,000.
Yeah, $3,000. And nowadays in hot markets, like I just took a call from another one that he's in some kind of franchise program and he's paying around $9,000 and per sellers. And I'm like, whoa. But Scott was the first one. He's like, there's no way. And I'm like, dude, like, this is what I'm doing. And he's like, well, set this up. Show me how to this works. So I hooked him up, and then right away he's like, holy crap, I'm getting a bunch of leads. And at that time I was getting my contracts for around $600 off of running Facebook ads.
Nice.
Yeah. And then after that, basically you need to know this detail. Like, how does that work? Like, how can you make it convert better than maybe some of the big national franchises? It's not that the big national franchises are doing anything wrong. They just, when they're doing marketing, they've probably got a lot of overhead in the middle. And because of that, they end up having to charge for that in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. The other thing is that we pay really close attention to messaging, copy. In the advertising world, they call it copy, the text that you see on an ad. And if you can get really, really good, like to the point where when someone reads your ad, they know it, that, like they feel like you're talking to them, or they feel like it matches the conversation that's going on in their head, that's when your ad cost goes way down and you convert more people. So as an example, this is a picture of the courthouse. I put this here because I want to talk about probate sellers. Probate sellers are some of my favorites.
Yep.
You do probates too, Chris?
Oh, we have over the years. Yeah, they're good, man. They're motivated.
Yeah. In the probate seller, like some people would say, oh, I can market to them with We Buy Houses. Sure, you can. That can work. But it doesn't work as well as if we actually get inside the head of what they're going through. And what's going through a probate seller, like they're some of my favorites, so I really obsess on copy with them. Think about what makes them wake up at night or what pains them. They're tired of dealing with the time frame of the probate process. They don't want to fight with their brother and sister about what to do with mom or dad's house. And there's always the stuff, like mom had 15 years of stuff in the house and they don't want to be the one to throw it away. Like they need time. And so when I write ad copy to talk to a probate seller, I start it with something like this. Are you tired of dealing with the probate process? Don't know what to do with mom and dad's stuff? Don't want to quarrel with your brother and sister about what to do with the property? Hi, I'm Nate with Nate Buys Houses. I've been helping probate sellers for the last few years. I just helped Tom and Nancy with their property that they got through the probate process. Here's how I can help you. So we shift it to be what's going on in their world. And when you do that, your marketing flat out works. It just works way better. And that's why we're producing leads at such low costs right now. And this was Scott. After he signed up with us, he got 2 contracts within 45 days. And then the rest is kind of history. He eventually got out of the whole franchise thing. And now he's just running Facebook ads because it's a lower cost point for him. Mm-hmm. And then this is kind of funny. After he got these contracts going and whatnot, I text him to check in with him probably around month 3. And I'm like, Scott, dude, how's it going, man? And he texted me back and he said, I had to turn it off. And my heart kind of stopped for a second. I'm like, what? What do you mean you had to turn it off? And I called him and I'm like, dude, what do you mean? He's like, no, Nate, you don't understand. I was getting so many leads that my team couldn't keep up. So we only run them on Saturdays and Sundays now.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Great, man.
Interesting.
Cool. This is the other gentleman. A lot of people know this man. This is the godfather of real estate. He's a mutual mentor of both Chris and mine, Ron LeGrand. We've now been running his ads for a while. And what's really fun about Ron is he likes to go fast and test stuff. So we're in the process of testing an 8-minute video to see how people respond to watching an 8-minute video. And we're getting people to watch it for less than 5 cents.
Nice.
8 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, you can't.
Is that something you're incorporating into the Facebook thing in the timeline?
Yeah. For folks that want it. Yeah,
gotcha.
Absolutely. Yep. It's still in a little bit of a testing phase.
Yeah.
What we're doing, because there's no call to action on that 8-minute video. And so what people do is they watch it, but if we see that they watch more than half of it, like they're an interest, that's someone that's a good prospect for us.
Retarget, yeah.
You got it. We do retargeting to them.
Evil genius.
That's how the magic works. Like you've seen those ads, like you click on a brand and then all of a sudden you're on NBC.com reading something.
They got you.
And they're following you. They're chasing you around the internet. That's the only way it works, because the average person needs to see a brand 7 times before they take action.
Yeah.
Here's the other reason that we help make this stuff work. Okay. So the guided setup on the campaigns is number one, like making sure that the campaigns are built right, it's up and running, all that stuff. That's first and foremost. The second thing is that we've got to have the right tools to help convert. So this business is really built on leads, calls, and offers. And the way that we track those is we do it through KPIs, or key performance indicators. So it's really simple. It's how many leads did I get this week? How many calls did I make? And how many offers did I make? Some people call the offer like an on-site appointment, whatever you want to call it. But when you start tracking these KPIs, it'll tell you what's going right and what's going wrong inside your business. And this is the second part of the secret to the success, is making sure that at every level of the conversion, whether it be take in a lead, do the phone call, or do the on-site appointment, the offer, we've got to be sharp. We've got to make sure our conversions are really, really good. So we do that through this little sheet. It's just a quick spreadsheet to track all those KPIs that we talked about. Okay. The next part is this. Okay. A lot of people think that you've got to either have, like, they might say to me something like this: Nate, I've tried this social media stuff before. It doesn't work. So they think that because they posted something in a Facebook group, or they think that because they posted it on their own like wall or timeline, that they didn't get the results they were looking for, so they give up. And I agree with it if you're trying it just on those sources, like the free stuff. What Facebook figured out is that Facebook they know that their platform outperforms almost every other platform. I'm going to tell you all the statistics in a little bit and the reasons why, but they know that. So therefore, they don't let the free stuff go very far anymore. Your reach is chopped. Do you notice that? Like if you put a post out there anymore, Chris, has that been scaled back compared to what it was 2-3 years ago?
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I'm noticing when I'm paying though, it's getting farther reach, because you can tell, how many impressions it's getting when you pay for it.
Yeah. You give Facebook a little bit of money and they will let you run a marathon on the platform. But so for the folks that have tried the free stuff, I agree it doesn't work so well. But the truth is that if you pay Facebook a little bit of money, then it outperforms the old methods. And I'm going to show you how and why. Here's a property that I did all in the last 6 weeks. I did this property, 4729 North 20th Street, literally from a Facebook ad. They came in. I never walked the property. I never met the seller, never met the buyer. I wholesaled this one. I never met anyone to do any contracts. I observed the whole social distancing thing. I did it all virtually, in essence. Okay. And the way that I did it was, it's kind of like if you compare the old way, like VHS cassettes, videos versus Netflix. I did it Netflix style. And I'm going to show you the Netflix style and how it worked for us. Okay. The old way, cold calling as an example, one example, what you're doing is you're literally calling, bad positioning, begging someone to sell their property to you. Not literally begging, but the positioning makes it feel like that. And then what happens is that you get sellers that are grumpy and they say, no, take me off your list. The other one that is the old way of doing this are auctions. And auctions can be great when they're live. And if you do it the way that Chris teaches, most states right now, the auctions have been frozen. Are auctions open for you yet?
Frozen. They're just opening up this week.
This week. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Frozen.
good news. And then the other one is direct mail or junk mail. Right now, I used to love direct mail, and I've done a lot of it.
Me too. Good God.
And it still works. But the thing is that most people, it's slow. They don't have marketing stamina, which means like it's not the first piece of mail that's going to get their attention.
Mm-hmm.
Usually got to hit them 6 times, 7 times. So it's a big investment, and it's a slow investment. And I don't know about you, but during this whole like COVID stuff, whenever I see mail, I'm like, I don't want to touch that. Throw that in the truck. I'm not opening that. No way. And then there's the other one is Bandit Signs. This is one of the other old ways. And Bandit Signs, I did these back in the day, but the reality is right now the streets are pretty empty, and they don't have the same effect. Okay. But what most people do in this business is they try all these things, the cold calling. I'm going to call probates, expired listings. And it's like us as real estate investors, sometimes we get shiny object syndrome and we chase all these different things. And then someone comes along and says, well, Facebook ads. But then people say, well, those cost money. So then we're like, no, I don't want to do that. That one costs money. I want to do these free ones. And then they get distracted from the way that's actually working. And the way that's actually working right now is the social media stuff. It does cost a little bit of money. So I'm the first person to warn of that. But when you give Facebook a little bit of money, they take you a long way.
They love you.
They love you. Yes. So here's some tips. Okay. If you're going to do this stuff, what you want is you've got to have a Facebook business page set up first. The thing that most people make the mistake of, though, is that they go after this big, like corporate look kind of. As an example, I tried and failed at doing Home Invest Buys Houses. I ran Home Invest Buys Houses, ran a bunch of traffic to it, or a bunch of advertising dollars, I should say. And I got some conversions, but nowhere near as what I got when I switched it over to my wife's name, Jennifer. Jennifer Buys Houses. Local, simple, like for whatever reason, people like people on Facebook. They respond better to people, and they feel comfortable when they can click your profile and see who you are, and they just feel more comfortable to share personal information. So that's the first tip. The second tip is that when ads are built, they need to be built natively and organically. What you don't want to do is you don't want to rip people off of the platform and make them go over to your webpage just because your webpage is pretty. Instead, you want people to be able to interact and behave natively on Facebook in that Facebook environment. So to build them there, what ends up happening is that when people see it, it looks more like a post to them. And then because of that, they comment stuff like this. Like you can see here that Sammy Jackson, he came in and he's like, hey, Jennifer, I've got a property at 4744 North 53rd. He's writing like a comment to a friend.
Wow.
And so Facebook gives this level of trust, and they feel like they know people. And then the other big, beautiful thing is that when you go to start to scale or increase the number of deals you do per month, it's so much easier because what you're doing is you click your mouse. You tell Facebook, hey, I want more attention. I want my ad out there more. And then they bring you more people. Whereas if you try to do that cold calling, you got to call twice as many people or 4 times as many people. And it's just not even comparable. It's not even apples to apples, how much better it is to do it on social media. So the truth is that social media outperforms these older methods. Now, the last marketing secret that I want to tear into is this whole big myth about, well, I have to have a big social media following. Like I have to have 50,000 people subscribed just like Chris does. Here's the thing. Chris is in a different business. Chris doesn't use his 50,000 people to reach out to sellers. Mm-hmm. Chris, when you went through and got ads set up for the Facebook world, did they use any of your assets from your YouTube channel or anything like that?
None, which was shocking to me too.
Yeah. So the truth is that literally you can go from zero, like literally create a brand new Facebook profile if you need to having leads within 14 days. And the way that that's done, and the reason that works, I'm going to show you a couple different examples on this, but the way that it's done, the reason that it works is because there's already tons of people on Facebook, and all we have to do is pay Facebook and then put the right ad in front of them. So we took brands like Ron literally, he doesn't want his face to be like the We Buy Houses kind of face. So we use Jennifer Buys Houses, which has no presence whatsoever in Jacksonville, Florida, didn't ever exist. I put up a page, I had it up, and literally Ron made us go really fast, but within the first 24 hours, we had 4 leads that came into them. No following whatsoever. And the trick was pay Facebook a little bit of money and have the right message to put in front of the sellers. And then we started getting leads just like that. Okay. So these folks are already on social media. We know that. Next, once we get them off of social media into our world, the reason we can make this stuff work is because of electronic automation. The last thing that any of us want to do is have to call people like follow up, follow up, follow up. So instead, what we do is we build this automation sequence to do the follow-up for us. Now, everyone has different systems and all that kind of stuff. If you've already got a system that you love, great. What most of our folks do is that they model what we have and they just incorporate it into their system. If you want help setting up the whole thing, we can look at that too. But you can take this stuff literally from if somebody comes in, you can send them an email, a voicemail, text messages. Like you can automate that whole process of the follow-up just to queue it up so that you can get on the phone with them. The other thing that you can do, and I've built a lot of these before, is these chat bots. We build these Manny chat bots. This one happens to be in Spanish because my wife and mother-in-law both speak Spanish. But you can basically start conversations with people through a chat bot and gather a lot of detail with them back and forth on a chat bot. So those automations are pretty fun. Like this is one whole conversation that goes back and forth with people. But so you can make them as elegant as you want. Okay. Next, this is pretty cool. This is Laura. So when Laura joined our program, she was struggling. She was up in the Jersey market. She does 2 markets, Nashville, Tennessee, a little bit south of there, and then Jersey. And up in the Jersey market, it was pretty competitive, like insane competition basically pushed her out. She had been doing deals before that, but then all of a sudden the market kept going up and up and it got tight for her. So we put her on to Facebook, and then her and her partner, Randy, they were able to get 25 leads within a couple of weeks. And then they got their first contract signed, and I believe they closed it all in less than 3 weeks, which is not normal. That's hard to do, but they were able to do it. And then they started locking down their second contract when she did this post. So it's pretty cool to see that time frame. So next thing that I often hear from people is, well, Nate, how much do these things cost? I bet they're super expensive to run Facebook ads. The ads themselves are not that bad. So for me, and I do 3 markets. I do Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Sarasota, Florida. The way that Facebook prices their ads is based on income in the area and demand. So if I'm in $1 million home neighborhood and I'm running ads there, Facebook knows that the people there that I'm going after, they're higher income, so that that ad space is worth more money. It's like, do I want a billboard in downtown New York, Times Square, or do I want a billboard in the middle of central Indiana? Which one's going to cost more? And so I'm giving the average numbers here. It varies from market to market, but this is the average for my 3. If I want between 2 and 4 opportunities to talk to sellers in a day, it's about $33. If I want to go between 4 and 8 leads, it's somewhere around $67. And then if I want to break that 8 mark and get sometimes upwards of 20, then I'm spending about $100 a day. And I don't know for you that the folks that are listening right now, if you are, how many opportunities you need of sellers that coming to you, asking you for your help, but you can kind of do the math and figure out what it might take for you to start getting some good leads in your market or some good opportunities. The other one is this. A lot of people will say, well, Nate, I'm too busy to learn all this stuff. And I totally can relate with you there. So this whole social media stuff, this invention will actually save you time in the end. But in addition to that, what our team does is we help people get it set up. It's kind of like building a small marketing plane and then getting that plane up into the air. That's the hard part. That's the tricky part where most people fail. So we build the plane, we get it up in the air, we get it flying nice and smooth. And then after it's flying, then we grab you by the hand and pull you up into the cockpit to teach you how to be the pilot. That's a lot easier to fly the plane once it's built and up in the air. So that's what our focus really is. Who knows Mr. Isaac Newton? Chris, you know Isaac Newton?
I do.
He's the invented the theory of gravity, calculus, optics. He had a lot of theories around those two. What was interesting, I kind of, we're all stuck at home and I got bored of watching squirrels and neighbors out the window. So I started researching all the plagues, all the pandemics that have happened since recorded history. And this one was interesting to me. In 1665, the bubonic plague was out. And Mr. Isaac Newton was not allowed to go to his studies at the university that he was working at. And so he said that because he was quarantined, essentially, stay-at-home order, that was the most productive period of his life. And so I find it relatable right now that we're all kind of stuck, but it can't do what we normally do. Like, this is a great time to be the most productive of our lives right here, right now. Okay. And the thing with this guy is, like, if I needed help with calculus or gravity or anything like that, like, I would be hitting him up all the time on Messenger. And the same thing applies with real estate right now. If you need help getting this real estate stuff done, the geeky stuff done, then you should grab a mentor and get it done. Like, hit him up. Okay. Now, how do you know if you need help with this stuff? And I'm going to challenge you with these questions. Here they are. Do you know how to do this business remotely? Like, because right now, a lot of sellers, they're a little bit weary of having you come inside their house. And if that happens, you've got to know the skill sets to be able to take that call remote and do most of the process remote. It doesn't mean you're not going to go there eventually and inspect it, but the beginning phases have to be remote. The next one is, do you know how to run an engagement ad? Do you know how to set up a business manager inside of Facebook? Do you know how to create a Facebook instant form? Do you know how to get Facebook leads straight text to your cell phone or to your CRM or any other thing like that? Do you have a plan in place on how to automate this whole process? Do you know how to have your leads auto sent to your call center or your VA? Do you know how to respond to comments on your ads? Do you know how to get the roadmap basically to get one deal per week closed?
Nice.
Do you know how to get apartment buildings? Chris, are you guys doing any apartment buildings?
We are not. We're doing single family homes only right now. I mean, I would be interested in looking at it. I don't know.
Yeah. So interestingly, like this deal here, like this picture you see on your screen, this is one that I got from our marketing. And the seller came in. He's this retired police officer, landlord that owned this building, and enough was enough for him. He got tired of dealing with the maintenance calls and whatnot. And so we were able to get this under contract. And then I was planning on closing on it. And then I was going to do some improvements and raise the rents. But then I had a client, a buyer that really wanted a property. He came to me and said, "Hey, Nate, will you help me with property?" And I said, "Sure." We signed a contract. I assigned the deal to him, was able to make a really good payday on that one, 6 figures. And then wholesale. Yep. Never closed on it. And then he came back to me about 4 months after he closed on it. And he said, "Hey, you know what? He said, the aliens that live in that building, like, I just don't want to take those calls anymore. Like, I want to sell that property. Can you help me?"
The buyer did.
The buyer. Yeah. The buyer. And I said, "Well, what are you looking to get?" And he said, "Keep in mind now, I got it in the low 7s. He got it in the low 8s. And then he said, 'Well, I'd like to sell it for 1.4. And I'm like, "Woo, all right, let's see what Facebook can do." And so we put it back out there into the world, started marketing it. Anyways, along came a buyer and bought it. Boom.
Wow.
And so I was able to get paid a second time on that property because he wanted help marketing the property for sale too. So it's pretty cool. And then additionally, he was able to make a huge profit, all because we bought that thing really low on the front end.
Nice.
So pretty cool deal.
Hold up real quick, Nate. I want to just make sure I remind you, some of my Roundup family members might be just joining us over time. I hate to cut you off. Just Roundup, we're hanging out with Nate Armstrong today, just showing you some of the ins and outs in the back office of this Facebook ads. Please get your questions in on the box over there so Nate can answer them. I promise you it's hard to get this guy. Very, very rarely can I get him on here. Nate, that's all. I want to make sure people know what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to go through questions. So whatever questions you guys got, even if you got them as we go, fire away. Okay. Next one is, do you know how to handle the pixels and retargeting ads? Most important part of the whole campaign is these coding to get back in front of people again, because the average person, again, they need to see your brand 7 times before they're actually going to give you their information. Do you have a proven plan for running Facebook ads and not losing money? I've had too many people that by the time they call me, they've already lost thousands to Mark Zuckerberg with no conversions. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to do that. Like, if you're running ads and you've got a campaign the right way, you should be able to sync up to a deal before you get into those $1,000 mark range. Mm-hmm. Leads are much cheaper than that. Do you know how to scale ads? Do you know? This is the fun part. If you don't have a plan for this, you know who's on the screen here. This is Michael Jordan with Phil Jackson. But if you don't have a plan for it, then the best thing that you can do is work with someone that does have a plan for it. And is this stuff hard? Yes, it absolutely is hard. We're talking about making a business that's wildly successful using a marketing channel. So it's not like an easy task to do. But if you've got someone that can walk you through this stuff, it makes it way, way easier. And at this point, you've got a choice. You can either do like the old school method, the VHS cassette style, and keep going about it the old ways, or you can upgrade to the new way, like the Netflix way. And if you think that social media can help you with that, then this is your chance to be able to do it. And we're going to go through questions. But if you're finding yourself right now saying, you know what, I do want some help or some guidance, then I'd challenge you to do this. It doesn't have to be me. It can be anybody that meets these criteria. And here's what I would look for if I were going to find someone to help me, or if I was going to refer someone out. I'd want to make sure that the person that you're going to work with has results in a non-coaching or non-agency environment, meaning I'd want them to be doing the thing that they're planning to teach you to do. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't want to go hire a marketing agency like I did and lose 12 grand to them because they didn't know how to do what you're actually talking about doing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Are there members or students getting results? Not results from 20 years ago, but results today, like right now. You don't want kind of like flash in the pan kind of stuff. And that's why the next requirements here is, has this worked for at least 6 months? Okay. You want to make sure it's a sustainable thing that you can jump into. Have they been able to do at least 300 deals in 3 years? And I say that because you want to make sure that whoever you're going to work with on it, they've actually got a track record of that you can look up to, that you can say, hey, I want that result. So that's why that's there. And I say all of these because this is the standard that I hold myself to in our team to. I've got the blessing and privilege now of working with 5 other people on our team to help build these ad campaigns out and really help people get this stuff cranking. And we've all got high standards, and it's essential for it. So here's what you can do if you want to explore this, if you want some help, if you want to say, hey, Nate, like, show me this marketing stuff. Show me the marketing plan for my area specifically. Then what we can do is we have what we call a strategery session. It's different than a strategy session. Like strategy session, that term is very, very overplayed. A strategery session is this. We're going to get in, we're going to analyze where you're at today, where you're trying to get, and we're going to look at your specific market so that we can build the campaign that makes sense for you. Every real estate market's different across the country. And every investor is a little bit different too, whether you're going for fix and flips, wholesale deals, et cetera. So it's important for us to spend some time customizing that for you. So we do that for our folks. There's no charge for it whatsoever. And you might say, well, Nate, hold on a second here. Why would you spend time building a marketing plan for me if there's no charge for it? Here's why. The reality is that no different than when you go and work with a seller, if you give value to them up front, and like we're with unquestionably one of the best in the world right now, like Mr. Chris Haskins, all this guy does is gives. And like, that's why like I'm a follower of Chris's and so many other people, 50,000 plus people are, because the guy gives all the time. When you sit down with the seller, when you go in, you're not there to take their house. You're there to give advice, be open book, be transparent with them, be real with them. And when you take that same approach with a seller that we do with this strategy session, the strategery session, we give first because we know that there's going to be a percentage of people that say, you know what, that marketing plan looks really good. I want your help getting this plane up into the air. So that's why we do it. Okay. We've only got myself and 2 other folks on our team that are able to do it. So I'm going to give you a link here in a minute that you can use to book calls. The call times go relatively fast. So if for some reason you can't see it, then make sure you like either fire back an email or hit the support button at the bottom of it. So if you don't see that time, that's on there. So the website for that is this. It's socialmediablueprint.com, socialmediablueprint.com/Chris Live. That's Chris with a K, Chris Live. It's really important to get that website because what I'm doing for everyone that's a Roundup member is we're going to send you out my 2-step buyer funnel for free. So literally it's what I use right now to get a whole bunch of buyers off of social media. this whole funnel system that we're talking about, you get that for free when you use this link. So it's socialmediablueprint.com/Chris with a K live, Chris live.
We put it in the link is in the video description, Roundup family. Y'all can go ahead and hit just click right below. You don't even have to remember it. We put it in the video description below.
Wow. Look at you, Chris.
Easy to do that.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
So what happens, Nate? Walk them through the process. If they do, it's, obviously, I've always learned Dan Kennedy says, I can't be all things to all people. We know that. Can't be all things to all people. If someone wants to move forward, what does it look like on the other side, Nate, after they say, hey, I'm interested in maybe taking a look at what you got? Yeah.
So I'll give you every step. So if you go to that link, you sign up your name, email, etc. Then you go to this little page where it asks you a half dozen questions about your business, and then you book the call time. Okay. On the call, what happens is that we lay out this marketing plan. We figure out where you're at, where you're trying to get. We show you the marketing that we could do for you. And then if someone says, hey, I want to do that, you guys build this plane for me. Let's go. The process is it's about 10 days to build that thing out. Okay. Build it, optimize it, make it work really, really good for you. During that 10 days, we're going to be giving you some stuff to help you get ready for the next part. There's 3 parts to this business. There's the leads, there's the calls, and there's the offers. And we want people to be ready because sometimes when those leads start coming in, sometimes they're not quite ready for them. Mm-hmm. And so we'll give you that during the 10 days so that you're ready for them. And then 10th day hits, then what you're going to do is you're going to jump back on the line with us on a Zoom call, and we're going to go through and show you what we built. Here's the plane. Here's how it works. Bring you up in the cockpit. We're going to teach you how to drive that plane. And we're going to show you how this thing is going to keep producing leads for you forever, as long as you put a little oil in it from time to time and put some gas money in it. So that's what that process looks like if someone says, hey, I want that help. I want someone to get that plane built for me and up in the air.
So once they go to the link in this video description below, your team is going to give them a call. You're literally going to talk to them on the phone.
We're literally going to talk. Yep. And people get to book whatever time they want. So we'll call you once you book the time. You pick the time, and then we'll call you at that time.
Gotcha. Nice. That's cool. It's very rare. People can't even do that.
Yeah. And there's only myself and 2 people on the team that are qualified to handle those calls because number 1, they've got to be good at real estate, and number 2, they've got to know marketing. Mm-hmm. So I don't have like an army of people doing it, but right now we're doing it. We're getting a lot of people that find a lot of value from it. And then there's a percentage of people that say, hey, I want your help now. And there's a percentage of people that down the road, they might come back and they want help. And there's some people that say, you know what, I love this plan. I'm going to try it myself first. And that's okay. That's awesome.
I got to tell you, Nate, first Roundup, thanks for joining us with Nate. Put your questions in the video description. Nate, how much time we got? I got you. We're at 50 minutes now. How much time do we have with you?
Dude, I'm here, man. I want to make sure we answer your questions.
Okay, cool. Nate set me up recently, and I'm like, I'm a direct mail guy, over the years, but I've seen this wave of just social media, and not only that, mobile social media, Nate, because everybody's on the phone now, even driving the car on Facebook or whatever. The speed that it takes leads coming in, Nate, give us a comparison as opposed to direct mail and social media.
Yeah. So last year I did with a partner, we did 48,000 in direct mail on one big campaign.
48,000
$48,000.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
It's the last time I've done direct mail. This is about a year ago now. And I remember that when we put it out, I mean, we did it. There was like $6,000. They've spaced it out over 6 drops.
Yeah.
But to get that pricing, we had to give the company $48,000 up front. So it was insane. But usually direct mail had produced for me prior to that. So I felt comfortable. And this time I miscalculated something. I'm embarrassed to even admit this, but I made a big mistake. We dropped. So I do 3 markets, Nashville, Milwaukee, and Sarasota. And usually I do absentee owners. And in Milwaukee always works. Nashville works. Well, I decided to do absentee in Sarasota, Florida. We put the first drop in. We get, I don't know, a dozen phone calls or so, nothing like we normally get. Usually we get just a bull rush of calls and then we start making deals happen. But So we get some of those calls, and I start going on the appointments and working with sellers, and nobody wants to sell to me. Like everyone's just saying no. And I'm like, this is not right. Something's off. And so then I'm starting to like sweat a little bit. The second mail drop comes and I'm like, okay, this is the round. We're going to get them this round. Nothing. I went on 4 or 5 seller appointments, didn't get anywhere near. And so now the third round, I'm like, okay, we got to get something, because now I'm getting nervous. All this money's out. And this time period is like every 3 weeks, another drop hits.
Yeah.
So you spend the money, all the money up front, and then you're waiting 3 or 4 weeks to hear your phone ring. And it's nerve wracking. And then you wait another 3 or 4 weeks. Now I'm like almost 3 months into this campaign, and I don't have a single deal to show for it. My partner on it is calling me like every other day. What's going on? Like, Nate, you're the real estate guy. This isn't working yet. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know why we're missing. And then the 4th drop hits, the 5th drop hits, nothing. 6th drop hits, 0. First time in my life, completely struck out.
Wow.
And then I had to embarrassingly admit the mistake that I made to my partner on it. And my partner's not like a marketing guy. He does real estate passively on the side. He's more just a money partner. But I had to admit to him, I figured it out. What I missed on is that in Sarasota, Florida, half that town is absentee. They own 2nd and 3rd properties in Sarasota, Florida. So I struck out because of a miscalculation on my part, but it soured me on direct mail. Like I wish I could have tested a little bit first, but direct mail, it's a lot harder to test. There's so much time that goes on. Whereas on Facebook, I can literally put in $20 and test it for a day. And then I'm going to know tomorrow if it worked or not. I might even know today if I get the ad up in the morning. So the risk factor is way different on social platforms like Facebook than it is over on direct mail world. So I took that same list, I uploaded it, that expensive list, I uploaded it into Facebook, and then I started getting profile matches. And thankfully I was able to get one seller to come back around on that. I did not break even or anything like that, but I was able to save face a little bit.
Gotcha.
So we're still shipping away.
Once again, I'm Nate. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I'm a direct mail guy, Dan Kennedy all the way. You know, I'm hearing that you're doing it too. My numbers are down too on direct mail. It's just, they just aren't, I guess they're not giving the shock and the attention that's just not there with opening the mail, Nate.
Yep. And I also believe that in the middle of this whole crisis, a lot of people don't want to touch the mail.
I don't. Yeah. Shit, I don't. Especially if I don't know what's coming from.
And one of my mentors who studied under Mr. Kennedy is Frank Kern. I've had the I've been a member of his private client group for a couple of years, but he's heavy social media. Like if you go anywhere social media, Frank Kern's everywhere right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing him.
He switched gears quite a bit to go to the social side, and I think it's only going to grow. I mean, Facebook has 62% of America right now on the platform for 35 minutes a day on average.
Unbelievable. That's cool.
And if you compare that to like Fox News, ABC News, NBC News, like none of those stations can say that they have half of America every day for 35 minutes. None of them can say that. Attention. So as attention keeps going to the good old smartphone, this is going to replace TV ads. It's going to replace radio ads eventually. It's already doing it. And I think that this is the platform of choice for people. So right now we're in a bit of a blue ocean. It's not very crowded. It's not very noisy. 3-4 years. It will change though, no doubt, Nate, right? Everything always does. Everything changes with that, just like direct mail. Yep, exactly. So you were saying, okay, you done with that? All right, I thought you were going somewhere with that. How long were we saying Facebook is going to be around? I have no idea. I mean, you got more numbers than me. Were you going somewhere with that? If I had to pull out a crystal ball and guess, I mean, I think that Facebook for us real estate investors, we probably got a 2-year, 3-year window where it's going to be good. And then it'll still work 5 to 8 years from now, but it'll just get crowded like direct mail. Yeah, gotcha. Yep. Round up Nate Armstrong in the building. The mad scientist. I call this guy when I talk to him. He's always got something working, man. These numbers, studying this stuff. He's tested the markets. Got me up and running too, Nate. You know, the leads are coming in. It's just an honor to work with you, my friend. Thank you, Chris. The feeling's mutual, man.
So round up as we look. I never told you, Nate, but I spent thousands on another company. I didn't even want to. I felt bad for even trying to tell you that.
Building a Facebook funnel, or what happened?
Yeah, I don't want to. I will talk about that offline though. But it's weird. Every lead I got in from the other company was I didn't promote them a lot. Was bad. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that offline, man. But just stuff came in and it's direct. It works.
Yeah, it's similar experience. Like I either got no leads or no good leads, and you get. I mean, when you're doing any kind of marketing,
you get.
There's a percentage of that, but the majority shouldn't be that. The majority should be people that you want to talk to. Otherwise, the copy's off, the messaging's off. Yeah.
Here's the thing with you, Nate. Roundup. We'll get to your Q&A. Nate has tested this stuff. My thing is always like talking to people, and they say, "Well, I tried this, and this is what we found out. Well, I did this, and this didn't work, but so we had to tweak this, and then we tried that." That to me shows me that someone's put the time in, and they're willing, and they're actually walking the walk. So, kind of helped me.
I think it's vital too, and we've actually got a really big blessing. Like number one, I test my own dollars first. Like when this whole COVID thing broke out, I was putting in money trying to figure out what is the shift, because the first like 6 days of lockdown, ads stopped working. Like the world was like, holy cow, like a deer standing in headlights at night, staring, wondering what's happening. Like, why are we all of a sudden stuck at home? And so I went into a little bit of panic mode, like trying to figure out which ad's going to work. So I tested for 6 days. Day 6, I got it. The headline was "Skip the Showings." And I wrote copy all about like social distancing friendly and all that kind of stuff. And I got it to work on day 7, day 8, day 9. It was rolled out to all of our members across the country.
Nice.
So we test that stuff, but the even bigger blessing is that we've had the privilege now of working with some of the bigger folks, like Ron as an example, to do his ads. And Ron's not a guy that likes to go small. He likes to go fast and figure stuff out. So we get to run ads at a big scale and see what's working, and we get to test new stuff.
Nice.
So that's a blessing for us.
It is a blessing right there. Wow. How many people can say that?
Yeah.
Very few. Round up. Get your questions in. If you wanted to see what Nate can offer you for a quick phone call, the man is literally taking phone calls. Very rare. I don't even offer that. Go down to socialmediablueprint.com/Chris Live. The link is in the video description. Let's see what questions we got. Charles Pons. Yeah, I have a Facebook business. I have a
FBI business page.
What should they do next? Oh, Facebook business page. What should they do next?
Yeah, so you can run ads. Like that's the Facebook requirements to run an ad are Facebook business page and privacy policy. You've got to have a privacy policy somewhere on the internet. And for those of you that are like, "Oh man, what's that?" or "How do I do that?" We do help with that. If you don't have one, we borrow you one of my privacy policies, and we can get you launched. But you can go into ads. You go to business.facebook.com. That's the business Facebook ad manager platform. And then you create an account there, and then you can start getting up and running ads. Before you launch an ad, I'd really suggest talking to our team and making sure that you know what you're doing. You don't want to like go in there and gamble. Facebook will gladly take your money. They will, like mercilessly, and you won't get it back. There's no refunds when Facebook ads. But if you don't know how to write copy and things like that, that's where you need guidance.
Yep. My thing is, man, I just wanted to have my own geek squad. That's where I was at. Wu-Tang, have you guys heard of Chris Chico? What do you think of Chris Chico? Nate, do you have any opinion on that?
Chris is an awesome dude, man. I've been through, there's actually 4, maybe 5 people like Chris that are out there that offer entry-level Facebook courses. And if you're looking for entry-level courses just to kind of get off the ground, then there's a lot of good ones out there. I've been through Chris's. I'm still technically a member of the program. The difference, if you're like, "Well, Nate, what's the difference? What's the difference?" We don't do like entry-level ads. We do campaigns. And entry-level ads can work. It's kind of like going out and putting out a Bandit sign and catching some attention from a seller. If you really want to get leads at the lowest possible costs and you want to be able to convert them, you need omnipresence out there. So when you click an ad somewhere, I'm not talking about our ads right now, but I'm talking about any ad. If you click someone's brand ad somewhere, you notice that brand follows you around the internet everywhere you go, that omnipresence. That's a good campaign. The follow-up text messaging, the follow-up voicemails, literally, like when a seller comes into my world right now, they get a voicemail from me that says, hey, this is Nate. With Nate Buys House, I do it under my wife's profile, but this is Nate. We got your inquiry. We're going to be reaching out soon. Is this the best number to call you at? Can you let us know? Or if you're free now, go ahead and give us a call. Those little things like that are what make the conversions better. And then you deal with less headaches in the whole process when you've got good conversions.
Bernard Mack wants to know, what platforms do you focus on? I'm presuming.
Yeah.
Media platforms.
So Bernard, I have tested other platforms. I've tested Instagram ads. I've tested YouTube ads. Facebook ads are where our demographic is. The challenge with Instagram right now is that Instagram is a younger profile.
They don't own anything.
You got it. They don't own it. And if they happen to own a house, they don't have equity yet because they just bought it. So Facebook, like literally your grandma and my grandma are on Facebook.
They are.
And so it's just an easier platform to navigate, and it's a disruption marketing. People aren't usually searching YouTube for how to sell people don't search for that on YouTube. And so YouTube is based on search. Facebook is disruption. Facebook, they're going about their business. They're looking at pictures of their nephew and niece, and then you pop up. So Facebook works really well from a demographic perspective and a disruption marketing standpoint.
Wu-Tang wants to know, I got two here. They wanted to know, they're curious about what is the ballpark price of the services that you offer, Nate?
Yeah, great question, Wu-Tang and Mindstroke. Nice to have you guys on. So it depends on what you need. Some people come to us and they literally don't have a website. They don't have any marketing whatsoever, and they need support. They need support on the areas of lead generation, calls, and offers. Other people come in and they got the stuff figured out. They're like, hey, Nate, just hook me up with the goods. I just need this. And so it wouldn't really do me any justice to tell you, like, it could be $100. It could be 10,000. In fact, if you pay me $1 million, I'll move in with you and I'll be your personal geek and help you. But I'll tell you that a 15-minute phone call won't hurt you. You're going to walk away with a ton of value. And my team's good at it.
Gotcha. Round up. Get your questions in here for Nate Armstrong. Social media blueprint, evil genius. Jerry, is this recommended for a person who is just starting out, Nate?
Jerry, fantastic question. And literally, when we went about designing this is what I wished I would have had when I first started. So yeah, absolutely. We can help you when you're first starting out. We've got a split crowd. There's about half of our members are brand new, never done a real estate deal, but they want to make sure that they do it right. So they come to us. The other half, they're folks that have already done deals. They've already got traction, but they haven't figured out the whole marketing end of it. We're set up for either of them. There's 3 areas of this business. It's lead generation, it's calls, it's offers. And if you ever get more complicated than that, then you probably get too distracted. We got to keep it simple. Lead generation, calls, offers. So we can definitely help you, Jerry, on the new side.
Hey, Nate, can I ask a question?
Not you, Chris. Just
Where did you come up with this offer? The way you do your offers? Were you just pondering one day with your evil genius mind, or did you see that somewhere and kind of piece it together how you do it with the numbers and the spreadsheet and all that craziness?
Yeah, great question. So when I first went out, my first mentor, so to speak, taught me more of the punch in the gut method, I call it. And I did that for years.
Okay.
Which was lowball cash. Hey, my offer is $72,000. Take it or leave it. And I didn't realize at the time how bad that was doing it that way, without building rapport, without going through none of that stuff. Lowball, punch. Anyways, I don't do that anymore. I don't preach that at all.
Me neither. Yeah.
Now we've got one of our gentlemen, one of our folks that's inside the program that helps with these marketing plans and whatnot. He's the founder of what's called the Art of the Heart for making offers, Peter. And so Peter, when he came into our world, Peter taught a whole different perspective. First off, I recruited him. He's got one of the highest closing rates I've ever seen in my life. He's almost 50% of the sellers that he sits with.
Wow.
It's insane. Like on a good week, good month, I might hit 17% myself, 18% somewhere in there. But this guy is almost 1 out of 2. And so when I started going through, I'm like, dude, you got to teach me this stuff. He's like, well, I actually trained a whole acquisition team, and it's called The Art. And he showed me his whole book, and I'm like, dude, this is gold. And I'm like, teach me. And then he taught me the biggest principle is this: when he sits down with a seller, he pictures it as someone sitting down with his mom, and how he would want someone to treat his mom if no one was there to help his mom. And so when you frame it like that, it's different. It's not like, how much profit can I make here? It's, hey, this is someone's mom, and I want to make sure mom is taken care of, and I'm going to do right by mom. And so after he taught me this, I changed my whole strategy, and everybody inside of our business, all of our members, the way that we show how to do this when leads come in, we follow that strategy to a T. We're literally open book with the seller. We have a spreadsheet. We'll show them our profit margin. A lot of people are afraid of that. Like they're like, do you show the profit margin?
Absolutely. They think you're just this millionaire guy coming in, like, you're going to make $1 million. You're going to get so rich off of my house. And then when you show them the profit, they're like, that's okay. I mean,
you nailed it, man. And they know you're there to make a profit. Otherwise, they feel like you're hiding something.
Might as well show them, right?
Yeah. We actually ask them, what do you think is a reasonable margin for me to make helping on this deal?
I like that.
And then they'll tell you it's always between $3,000 and $10,000, somewhere in there. And like, okay, you want me to write that in? All right, let's look at the numbers with your number there. And so we do that. And anyways, that's how I do offers now. And that's how I kind of evolved to get to that spot. And that's now the way that we show everybody, like, make it from the heart.
Tunstall. Hey, Tunstall, can't wait to chat with you.
Awesome, Tunstall. Looking forward to it.
T5, y'all put your names in here. I had these usernames, homie45. I started running ads. T5, I'll leave it at that. Started running ads, and so far 2 leads. Good for you. Do I really have to change my page to have my personal pictures on it, Nate?
So T5, congrats on the 2 leads. That's awesome. Keep that train moving. Were they good leads? How much did you pay for those leads? I'm curious. And then do you have to change? You don't have to change anything. I'm not telling anybody to like go out there and reinvent themselves, but I do want to share what best practices are and what we've experienced now after running thousands of dollars in ad spend per week for us and helping other clients across the country. So I just don't want you to go through any headaches. And what I've found is that the more human you can make that page and your ads, the better they convert on social platforms. People in these positions, they like to deal with the person that they feel like they can bond with, they feel like they can connect with, that is possibly local as opposed to a big national company. I don't know if you knew this or not, T5 and everybody else, but Zillow and then OfferPad, Open Door, these are big companies that have been buying houses for the last 1.5, 2 years or so. And Zillow just pulled back in most markets. They're still buying in some markets, but in most markets, they hit the brakes during this COVID thing.
I'm seeing that.
They left a lot of sellers hanging, lots. In fact, one of the ads that we've got fired up in the Minneapolis market for one of our members is, did Zillow leave you hanging?
Wow.
And it's because there's so many people that got left hanging by Zillow. So small, local, like someone that they can trust. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Gotcha. Small, local. King Edward III. Hey, New Orleans. How you doing, brother? Quick question. Do you have to get the purchase and sales agreement notarized? I'll let Nate chime in on that first.
So King Edward, in most states, purchase agreement does not require a notary. Actually, I don't know a single state personally that does require a notary. What does require a notary is when the seller signs the deed. That's where you've got to have a notary. But purchase agreements, no, we're doing most purchase agreements. If we don't do it right there at the dining room table with the seller, then we'll send it by DocuSign and they'll click to sign a little bit later.
Yeah, King Edward, we don't get ours notarized. However, we do always do a memorandum with that, and that does get notarized. I'm praying that the industry will let us do mobile notaries over the phone soon. You can just hold your driver's license. I hope that's where it's going, Nate. I mean, there's no reason to have someone go out and notarize a document. We have a mobile notary king that will go out to the house and do that.
I love that. And Chris, if I could ask you a follow-up question on that. So the memorandum, you literally get it on every deal. So you record it just in case the seller tries to change their mind later?
Don't record it. I just keep it in the back, bro, in the folder.
I see. I see.
I don't know about you, man, but for some reason, I don't know. I mean, I've just had too many people just walk away. You know, I lose 10, 20,000.
Yeah. In Florida, it's happened. Nowhere else in the country, but Florida is giving me the kick in the butt a couple times now. Mhm.
It happens. If you're in this business long enough, Nate, my opinion is someone's going to change their mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
T5, the removal of zip code targeting has made things challenging, but I think this could still work.
T5, I can tell that you are a veteran of the Facebook platform, and that's a good thing. So the targeting, when it got stripped last year, it was about last fall. There was about a week, kind of like what I went through when COVID broke out and ads stopped working. There was about a week where I went through the same phase. Facebook will always have changes and updates. I assure you of that. This is one of many. Mm-hmm. And the reason that this update was prompted is that Facebook got hit with some kind of lawsuit, if you want to call it that. But basically, they found that they were on fringe of violating fair housing laws. They can't give out age, religion, sex, gender, all the fair housing laws. And so Facebook got slapped. So then Facebook had to come back to us, anyone running housing ads, and say, you know what? We can't give you all the keys to the castle. We can't give you these things because they violate housing law. So instead, what we're going to do, zip code's one of them. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to let you put a pin drop on a map. And it's almost the same thing. You put a pin drop on the map and you draw a circle now instead of having a zip code. You can only go down to 15 miles, which isn't a bad thing. What you need to get good at then, and this is what I had to figure out during that week of trial and error when they came out with this change, is what to do instead. So if I want to target, let's just say that 15 miles is too big. I only want houses in this one little square, McKinley Park, something like that. Then in my ad copy, I have to be able to tell the seller who I want. So I might say, attention McKinley Park sellers. I'm Nate. Here's how I can help you. That's not the exact copy, but you get the point that I'm trying to explain. So it did do some damage to most of the advertisers that were real estate investors. What it did is it got rid of over half of them. Wow. Boom, wiped off the platform in one day. Ad cost went down. Today, ad cost is still down compared to what it was a year ago for these real estate type ads. So for me, it was actually a good thing that it happened.
Gotcha. T5, good question. T5 is paying $13 per lead.
Cool. And how are they? You got two. What happened with them? That'll be the test if they were good leads or bad leads.
Yep. Round up. We're still here with Nate Armstrong going over the Facebook ads, social media blueprint. If you're interested in talking with Nate, you can literally talk to the guy. He's taking phone calls. I don't know how he does it, but the link is in the video description. Just click right on it, set up a time. Will it be a calendar on there, Nate, for them to pick a time?
Yeah, so it'll be a quick form. Tell us a little bit about your business,
gotcha.
Where you want to go with it, and then the calendar pops up right after that.
Nice. Okay. Round up. Get it in there. If the man's going to take time to talk to you. MA, in which part of the campaign process, front or back, do you separate good leads from bad leads?
So MA, number one, if you've got the right campaign going for you, it should do a lot of self-filtering before the leads come in. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. When you're lead generating, you're going to get some percentage that aren't the right fit. They're usually, what they are in my business is, we call them curious or window shoppers. Hey, I saw your ad. I'm listed with a realtor, but how much would you offer me? That kind of curious. So, but if your ad copy is written really well, you should self-filter out a lot of those people. So the front end of it is where most filtering goes. And then the back end of it also happens some filtering. So what happens if somebody gets into your system, your ecosystem, and then they don't answer the phone right away, but they're still in your world. You're sending them these automated digital messages, emails, text messages, voicemails. In each of those that we write, we've got a sequence that goes for 6 months. In that sequence, literally, we're telling the people, like, we write stories about the people that we're good at helping. I just got done helping Tom and Nancy sell their property. They were going through the probate process, and here's what Tom said about us. Here's what Nancy said about us. So we write stories like that. And when you write them that way, it tells people like, oh, this is kind of like me. I'm like Tom and Kathy. I should call them. Or it might tell them, you know what? I'm not like Tom and Kathy. I'm just window shopping. I shouldn't call. Mm-hmm. So it happens on the front end first, but it'll also happen on the back end too.
Well, Nate, the problem a lot that I find with my inner circle members is the majority of the people we talk to, we don't do business with. Is that the same thing for Facebook ads too?
Yeah. So I might, and I'm just giving a random one, but I might take in 10 leads and 3 of them are worthy of me going on site. Mm-hmm. And then I'll probably get 1 of those out of the 3. That's kind of how numbers shake out for me. But out of the 10, 70% of them weren't worth me going on site. They either didn't answer the phone or maybe they were one of those window shoppers, whatever the reasons are. But 3 out of 10, I'll take my odds with that. I'm good with that.
So are you saying, Nate, that is kind of indicative of the real estate business in general?
Yeah, it is. It is. You gotta generate leads. I wouldn't compare it. Where I wouldn't want to go down the path of is comparing to cold calling. Cold calling, you're doing an unsolicited reach out to them. Mm-hmm. When someone has to take the action step of saying, you know what, that's me. I'm looking to sell. Will you please help me? That's a different mental thing. Like those leads are worth way, way, way more than an unsolicited cold call lead that you buy off of some list, pulling it from the county records or pulling it from some data house.
Gotcha.
So yeah, with a cold call lead, I'm finding most people need like 100 or more leads to get something teed up. Whereas with social media leads like this, like I could do a deal in 10. I wouldn't promise that to everybody, but usually even brand new people within 20 leads, you can usually get something under contract.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just think the mental thing that everyone, for me, I keep in mind that majority of the calls are going to be no good. I mean, you have to go through them all to get to the good ones.
Yeah.
Ken Garner, what's up, Ken? Do you need the memorandum signed by the seller? I'll let Nate. I don't know if you do that or not, Nate.
I haven't. The couple times in Florida that I wish I would have had your advice. So I'm going to listen to you answer this one.
Well, I have done them both, Ken. Generally speaking, I would like for you to have the seller and you as your trustee sign it. Depending on your courthouse, the clerk at the courthouse, he's like the president of the United States. When it comes in there, he can read those books and determine how he wants to record your documents. I've had one courthouse say yay, another courthouse say no. So just get them both signed.
Buyer and seller. Okay.
I would. Yeah, we do them every time. T5, are you overlapping multiple ads on the same pin or location, Nate?
So T5, it depends. It depends on the objective. So as an example, that 8-minute video that I mentioned, that runs in a 15-mile radius. And then we build an audience off of that. And then we retarget those people in the same exact overlapping 15-mile radius. The difference is that the first ad is mass marketing. We're going after thousands of people. We're inviting everybody to come watch the video. The second ad, still within that same 15-mile radius, that retargeting ad, we're only going after maybe a couple hundred people because we're only going after the people that watch more than 50% of that video. Mm-hmm. So yes, there is some overlap. I wouldn't want to like compete against myself with the same ad with the same intention, but when there's 2 different intentions, yes, we do overlap.
Gotcha. You guys are talking some techno babble with that one. I'm trying to follow along. T5, the first one he wants to let you know, or he or she wanted to let you know, the first lead was a fake lead, Nate, and the second lead was not in the 15-mile circle.
Got it. So your campaign could probably use a little fine tuning. If you're getting fake leads, I would change the copy. And then I would also change, when you created the form, when you built it in the native platform, there's an option to do higher intent or higher volume. And I bet you, because you got a fake lead, you're right now in higher volume. And I would encourage you to switch to higher intent. So that's technical babble, but that's probably what's happening in your world right now.
Well, Nate, can T5 sound like you guys are talking on real high language? Can he still call? I mean, no doubt you're not going to, you're just going to see what you can do to help him. I mean, you helped me. Can he still call us, get a strategery session to see what you recommend?
Absolutely. We'll still lay out a marketing plan. Doesn't matter if someone's already in or they haven't stepped into the Facebook world. We'll still help.
Cool. T5, yeah, he's right here. I've seen Nate take calls with people that just to give him some advice. See, Rubber City, Chris, are my docs still half off? Yes, just go to my site. They'll be half off so far until the end of this month. Ken, you don't need. Okay, Nate, this is all we got, my friend. We made it. Hour and 20 minutes.
Boom. All right.
So round up, go down to the video description, get in touch with Nate. He does have a little, the way he talks, he's very technical, so you got to just kind of follow along. He's got, I promise you, he can break it down systematically. Everything's going to be in a box. Move over here, slide that there. I've seen the man in action, guys. So get signed up. Links in the video description. Nate, final thoughts for people that are interested in getting their social media, get that, I call it like an engine to get your train rolling.
Yeah. Final thoughts is this. Number one, thank you everyone for jumping on live and catch the replay later. Thank you, Chris. And if you are going to do any kind of Facebook stuff right now, we've got a little bit of a golden era. Like never in history before has the world been forced to stop moving and spend more time at home. So right now is a nice time to be advertising online.
Unbelievable. It's unreal. I mean, the numbers are unbelievable. I look at my analytics. Okay, round up, get signed up, and see what Nate can do for you. And if he can't help you, he'll at least give you some points in the right direction, as he's done for I don't know how many people. Okay, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and share with any other investors or somebody that's thinking about getting into the real estate business. This is a way to kind of get your leads cranked up, and the leads will kind of get you directed to what exit strategies you want to do. So you're not just focused on just one exit strategy. Okay, Nate, that's all I got for you, my friend.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
This week, round up Patrick Bet-David. His video is coming out 8:30 Saturday morning. So make sure you hit that bell. You're going to see what this man has to say. I promise you, it's going to change your life. Bye, everybody.